G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wildkard. Thank you for watching the Wildkard Rugby Show. Like, comment and subscribe. And yes, it is my pleasure and privilege to talk about the greatest game in the world, rugby. And yes, finally, the most important day in the New Zealand calendar year, that is the All Blacks announcement, has arrived. And Scott Razor Robertson has announced the first inaugural All Blacks team under his reign as the head coach of the New Zealand All Blacks. And yes, no surprises there. Scotty Barrett, Scotty Wildkard Barrett has been announced as the captain. I know, a lot of you guys are saying, is this cronies in Wildcard? No. You know, I wanted Scotty Barrett to be the captain for the All Blacks since 2019. I felt he's the one guy that is most suited for the role. And yes, a lot of you guys are probably very disappointed that Ardie Savea is not selected for this role. And, you know, if you look at what went through with Sam Cane the last 4 years, do you really wish the toxicity or the criticism or the media constant bashing upon a player like Ardie Savea? No, he doesn't deserve that. You need someone that has emotional stone face, that's not affected by anything whatsoever, right? You can get sent off 5 times in a match, does not affect Scotty Barrett, and that is someone you want to be the All Blacks captain, someone that can just carry on with the toxicity around the media, carry on with the pressure, carry on with the burden that is with the legacy of the black jersey, without any emotional attachments, without any emotional effects, without any emotional scarring by the end of it. And Scotty is best one suited for that. And in fact, Scotty is one of the very few players when he's under pressure, under the leadership role, as we've seen in the Crusaders team, that can rise to another level. He plays better under a leadership role because he knows how important it is for him to raise the bar for everybody around him. So I'm very happy for the Scotty Barrett to be the All Blacks captain. You can let me know your argument for Ardie Savea. I just don't think that, you know, it's like the role of the All Blacks captain sounds fancy, but it's literally like, you know, I was saying on Instagram, holding the ring of power from the Lord of Rings. It sounds fancy, it sounds cool, but it's so much toxicity. It drags you down so much emotionally. You really need someone with a very stern and strong, you know, emotional state to carry that burden. It's not really, you know, it's not really a fancy title. It's a burden. Like, the expectations for the All Blacks, it's not just, you know, win 50%, 60% of the games. It's about winning every game, and winning every game with absolute dominance, or you're going to get criticized. That's how brutal it is when it comes to being the All Blacks. And yeah, we saw that with Sam Cane. He really didn't deserve a lot of the criticism that was levied against him last year. And yeah, Sam Cane is injured, so he's not available for selections as of right now. But yeah, it's really, really important, the captain selections here. And with that aside, there was some very surprising selections from Razor, and you know, let's talk about it. Let's go through the list, and yeah, so let's go through the selections. I mean, there are, you know, a lot of the players have no surprises, but there is a few where I'm just scratching my head a little bit. But yeah, but nevertheless, all of these players truly deserved a spot in the All Blacks jersey. There's no like someone who's completely out there, but I just feel like there's a few players that has slight edge and they may be a little bit better suited for the setup for the team. But I mean, all the players selected are absolute brilliant players, and look forward to seeing every one of them playing rugby for the black jersey. So let's start with the hookers, or Asafo Amoa, returning from injury for the Hurricanes. He has been absolutely brilliant, getting that nod for the All Blacks jersey. I mean, the guy is just such a good ball carrier, such an exciting player, and he's really improved a lot of that line-out execution issues that's been having in the past. And yeah, he's definitely worth starting for the All Blacks. Maybe not starting. I think Cody Taylor is probably starting, but yeah, definitely worth a black jersey here here right now in 2024. Cody Taylor coming in for another hooker position. After Cody, he had a bit of break for a non-playing sabbatical. He's come out looking fresh, looking really, really good, like, you know, better than we've seen in the last couple of years. I think the way that Cody has been playing for the Crusaders, even with just a few limited rounds, you can clearly see that he's taking his game to another level. Just that freshness, that crispiness that came back to his play a lot. So that's really good to see. I think Cody probably deserved the starting position. George Bell is caught in the hooker. He's one of the little bit of surprise for me because I really felt like Ricky Riccatelli deserved the third, the third spot for the All Blacks jersey here, but it's not too big of a crazy selection. I just think that Ricky's probably, done his dues with the Blues. A very spectacular season. I mean, improved a lot drastically with his line-out throws, and I really thought that he probably deserved a spot here. Next up, in the prop positions, this is pretty much no surprises. Ethan de Groot coming in at the loose head for his probably by far the best players out of Haaland this team, to be honest. Tyrell Lomax, someone's been a little bit low. A lot of you guys talked about this with my other All Black selections based on stats video. You guys think that he's a big-time player. I do think that is true. His scrummaging is probably the most important aspect that he brings to the game. I just think that maybe due to like some of these on and off issues that he's been having, he's probably not being able to find that consistency going straight into against England. So that's my thought. You can talk, you can let me know what you think about that. Fletcher Newell, in my opinion, is by far the best tight head prop for New Zealand right now. He is absolute machine. The guy that broke the leg press record at the Crusaders at 18 years of age or something. He is just an absolute machine. It's drastically improved his work rate on the park, his defense, his tackling. It's absolutely almost close to 100%, which is exactly what you want from the prop. And his scrummaging has just taken another level. He's been, the prop, the loose air props that he's playing up against, like his teammate right now, in Ofa Tuangafasa, he's been able to diffuse all of that pressure from the Blues scrums when they played. Absolutely spectacular this guy has been, Fletcher Newell. Pasilio Tossi, someone playing for the Hurricanes. Very interesting selection here. I thought he'd probably deserve a spot. His carrying game has been drastically improved under the Hurricanes setup, and his run meter is probably one of the highest, if not the highest, out of all the front rowers. Maybe except for Cody Taylor, but out of all the props at least so far. Ofatu Ngafasi, his game has drastically improved. Last year his biggest weakness was his ability to hold on to the ball. His handling wasn't that great. This year that has been drastically improved. His tackling has improved a lot as well. His defense has improved a lot, and he's always been one of the best scrummagers in the world, in my opinion. And really good to see that he's going to get an opportunity here for the All Blacks. And finally, to Marty Williams, the utility. He's been on and off injured a little bit. He's done really well for the Crusaders from both in the tight head and loose head position. And he's been played used a lot by Ian Foster last year as a loose head. But just a utility, and really, really great selection here. It's going to be difficult to select the starting, 4, I guess, props for the All Blacks. Coming in locks, only 3 locks for the selections. Scotty Barrett, the captain. Scotty Barrett, I've already talked about. He's been injured quite a bit. The one game he came back, he spazzed on his back. That's the second game he came back. Now he's spaz on his back. But the game before his spaz, he had his back spasm. I think that was the best game the Crusaders played all season with him on the field. Tupavai has been a spectacular season for the Chiefs. Really, really greatly improved his set piece in their front as well. And finally, Patrick Tuipulotu, the guy that's been the foundation of the Blues team. And I think that the one reason he came back to play in that game, in that finals game, despite he's supposedly having a long-term knee injury, is probably because he wanted the All Blacks jersey, and this is what he's willing to go through, to put all on the line, all his injury on the line, to play in the Super Rugby finals, to show Scott Robertson that he still can go to get the nod here. He shows how much it means to him, and it shows up, just really the heart of what it means to be an All Black. I have no doubt, coming back after 1 week, suffering a season-ending knee injury, 1 week, right? Sia Khaleesi come back in 6 months, 1 week, and playing in the final. I have no doubt he was going through some pains, but he just never showed it to anyone. And he played like a champion, won Super Rugby, and here it is, truly deserving the spot for the All Blacks. Anyway, the loose forwards, Ethan Blackadder has returned from a long-term injury. I thought he's been really, really good for the Crusaders when he played. The only reason I didn't select him in my stats game selection, the selection based on stats, is that I felt like his stats was a little bit inflated because the teams were low-ranking teams, but he was absolutely workhorse when he did play in those games. So really good to see how him back in the fold, and interesting to see how Raiders going to use him. Simon Penifino is a very surprising selection for me. A lot of you guys like the way he smashes people with that big tackle. He did it against Tom Liner. He did it against Tan Edmund. And I just think that's very risky. You know, we saw what happened to Joseph Swali in the State of Origin on the Reece Walsh. Someone could slip and he ends up hitting them in the head. And a lot of the Northerner referees are not going to be as lenient as the Aussie and Kiwi referees when it comes to that regard. And he could just be sent off. And for the All Blacks to potentially lose a test match because of a red card, yeah, that's a very risky selection in my opinion. Let me know your thoughts. Next up, this is a bit of a controversial selection in my opinion. Luke Jacobson ahead of the Hurricanes fly half. What's his name? Peter Lakai. So I thought Peter Lakai has a much better running game, a little bit better ball handling, and yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that Jacobson got the nod here. Jacobson's discipline's a bit of issue as well for the Chiefs. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. I know a lot of you guys are big Jacobson fans, but I really felt that Peter Lakai deserved the spot here ahead of him. Next up, Dalton Papali'i, almost a long-term All Blacks selection now. His game has actually improved since his performances last year for the Blues. Much more disciplined, much better at the breakdowns, and much better at carrying the ball as well. So I'm really happy to see him here and good to see him continue to improve for his game. Adi Savia, no surprise here, returning from Japan, gets the nod. And finally, Wallace Satiti, another huge selection. That's left me a little bit surprised. This is the biggest surprise out of pretty much all the selections. There's another big surprise coming out, and that is the fact that he's selected ahead of Hoskins Tutu. Wallace Satiti was really good in the last two matches for the Chiefs. But Hoskins Tutu has been absolutely insanely good for the Blues for the entire season. And the Blues probably wouldn't have made it in the finals without Hoskins' contribution in the team. That physicality that he brings. Yeah, let me know your thoughts. I think this is a bad selection. Not a bad selection. I think this is a selection that could have gone to Hoskins Tutu. Wallace Satiti is absolutely great player. I just think that Hoskins probably deserved the spot ahead of him here though. Yeah, let me know your thoughts here, guys. Let's move on to the back line. We've got Finlay Christie coming in as the starting number 9. I think that's pretty good. He's been really good for the Blues. Fundamentally, he's much better at the faster the breakdown, much better than he was last year. Decision making has been very crisp. And yeah, all of that Blues success comes from his judgment of where the ball needs to go. And I think that will be a really critical part, an interesting tool to see if Razor wants to use him in a similar way to the Blues. TJ Perenara gets selected with a world of experience behind him. And another interesting selection here is Cortez Ratama. I really felt like Faleo Fakatava maybe could have got this spot here, or even the Blues reserve, Funaki. I thought Funaki probably deserved. I mean, obviously, he probably kicked his black jersey away with that reverse Carlos Spencer kick, right? But yeah, let me know your thoughts here. But Ratama is definitely a talent for the future that I could consider. With obviously Cameron Roy got injured. But yeah, interesting. So fly half now, we've got Beauden Barrett coming back from overseas next to Damian McKenzie. Pretty much, yeah, there's not really much arguments there. Who's going to start? I think depends on who you're playing against. That's the real answer there. And let's go to midfielder now. Jordie Barrett comes in that inside center position, being brilliant for the Hurricanes. And I do feel like, yeah, his performance in the final couple rounds with the Hurricanes was a little bit lacking a little bit, but I think that his overall performance as a big-time player, he's definitely, almost a hands-down selection for the All Blacks. Riku Ioane hasn't really been performing, in the other hand, hasn't been really performing for the Blues. But again, big-time player for the All Blacks long-term now, almost a hands-down selection. Anton Leonard-Brown is by far the best inside and outside center in Super Rugby in the whole season. His stats just outrageous. His rugby just outrageous. He's incredibly good under the high ball, challenging the high ball. He doesn't really jump up for the high ball, but he will just time it perfectly to smash you and take the ball from a turnover. He's incredible. And finally, Billy Proctor from the Hurricanes gets the nod for a potential debut there. Not a bad selection there as well. It's been a great partnership with Jordie Barrett at the Hurricanes. And then outside backs, and this is another area I thought was a little bit controversial in some of the selections. First up, he selected 4 wingers, all 4 great wingers, and only 1 fullback. I guess Beauden Barrett can double up as a fullback, and Jordie Barrett can also play fullback. But yeah, 4 wingers, and let's see what they selected. So Caleb Clark coming in, I think it's been good, very powerful ball runner for the Blues. Great under the high ball, great selection. Imoni Narawa, a guy who's, again, ridiculous stats, run meters wise, great offloads, and really, really good individual skills with the ball. And it's just been brilliant for the Chiefs. Stephen Perifetta, the fullback that's probably has the least kicking out of all the fullbacks. I guess that is one of the things that maybe Raiders looking for, just less kicking, more of a running game. And Stephen Perifetta is one of the guys that's his go-to from the Blues team is the counter-attack, and not much of a kick, less leaning towards the kicking side of it. But my pick is Ruben Love, who's not selected for this. So yeah, very big surprise here. I really felt that Ruben Love has been so good for the Hurricanes. Definitely deserved some spot here. But no. Seven Reese also just an absolute insane season for the Crusaders. The Crusaders probably, half of their bonus point loss, losing bonus points were earned by Seven Reese. So he's single-handedly almost winning games for the Crusaders when the entire team wasn't functioning. He was just scoring tries by himself. It's absolutely insane form right now, so great to see him here. And Mark Tilley has been really good for the Blues. The style that Blues play has almost transitioned him into a forward, but hey, that is just extra versatility, I guess. And these injured players not considered: Sam Kane, Will Jordan, Samasoni Taukeiaho, and Cameron Roigard, all due to injuries. So yeah, let's go through some of the selections for my part. So obviously, the All Blacks selections, there's two parts to it, right? Number one is the fact that this is the best selections in terms of just being each spot. But I think when you play against, depends on the team you're playing against, there's different strategies needs to be considered. So I have actually a different selection for the Springboks. So let's go through this and let's look at what I would select if they were playing against the Springboks. So this is something that you want. I've been thinking about, because obviously that the best setup might not be the best strategy against the top teams that you wanted to beat, which is the Springboks. So with the Springboks, there's emphasis on strong counter attack from the kicking game, from the Springboks kicking game. High ball management. Springboks likes to put those high balls down, so having people really good under the high ball diffuse that pressure, and also putting high ball pressure on the opposition is really, really important. And just really high work rate in the forward pack is really crucial in wearing down the big Springboks forwards, and really just taking that edge out of the team. So just having, you really just got to physically wear down the opposition is more important. So with the people coming off the bench, when you play against a team like the Springboks, it's really about discipline, not giving away penalties, break down pressure. And in the second half, there'll be more emphasis in playing the territory and in playing the long-range kicking game. So the adjustments will be made accordingly to the little bit of switching strategy as well. And just really, the second half is really about just holding on to the bomb squad coming off for the onslaught, and really about staying disciplined and just really able to sustain that pressure whilst not giving away easy penalties. So this will be the setup if I was playing setup against the Springboks. And this is let me go through this. So coming number one, Ofa Tuangafasi. He has been just so good in the scrummaging, and I think that the way that the Springboks like to play their better props in the second half really gives an opportunity for Tuangafasi to start here, especially considering how good he has been for the Blues, and he's been playing almost the full match for the Blues as well. So I think that absolutely no issues with him playing at number one. Cody Taylor, experience, line-out operator, and just really great ball runner, and just that running game that he's going to bring will add a lot of value the running game that he's going to bring, and just the experience from the experience that he brings from the past will add a lot of value in the first half. Again, it's about wearing down the opposition. And Fletcher Neal, like I said, best tight head prop right now in New Zealand. Just having him to start a game, to stabilize the situation, don't let the Springboks run away with penalties and scrums. Really, really important. Scotty Barrett, the captain, there's no issues there. Again, a guy who's really good under pressure, really good about applying sustained pressure for the entire 80 minutes. Tupou, I would have moved him off the bench to the starting position, because of the fact that I think that his young player he'll bring a lot of energy, and I just wanted a more experienced player to come off the bench to kind of finish the game, with fewer, with a more leveled head, and just to sustain that pressure and not to let the pressure, again, discipline will be the issue remain disciplined in the second half. So I would take Tupavai off in the second half. Wallace Satiti is my selection in the number 6 jersey. This probably could have been Adi Savea if you were to select Hoskins Sotutu. I would have Sotutu at 8. Adi Savea would have gone to 6, but because of the fact that Sotutu is not selected, so Wallace Satiti will go to 6. Again, it's about just counter-attacking, about sustaining pressure with the 4-pack, and just not really, giving the Springboks big 4-packs a much of a break. Just physically, it's just about wearing them down. I think Satiti's carrying game, his show recently has been really good for that. Dr. Babali has been very, very good all around for the Blues, so I'm pretty happy for him to be here. Adi Savia as well, just an all-around great player, great ball carrier, great defender, great breakdown. Everything's excellent from Adi Savia. At number 8 jersey, Phelan Christie. Like I said, I'm expecting to play a tighter game. Having Christie at number 9, playing almost a similar style to the Blues, will be excellent just with the 4-pack, belting into the defense, to wear the defense down, take out a lot of that energy, sap out the energy of the Springbok team. The interesting selection here for me, number 10, Beauden Barrett. This is a very difficult selection. It's whether it's going to be Beauden or whether it's going to be Damian McKenzie. And I just think that Damian McKenzie's kicking game plays perfectly into the game plan of the Springboks. And that is the reason I selected Beauden Barrett, because I don't want the team to be drawn into a kicking game. That is exactly how the Springboks wants to play. And I think Beauden Barrett is less likely to do those long kicks. He's more likely to do little kicks behinds, crossfield kicks. That's gonna be, that's gonna make a difference to the style that the Springboks is used to. I mean, they're used to kicking game altogether, but that's the style that's a bit of a difference to what the Springboks like to play, which is the high ball game. So that's why I have Beauden Barrett at 10 ahead of Damian McKenzie. Number 11, Caleb Clark. The way he plays for the Blues pretty much doubles up as a forward, and that's why I have him here. He's basically just here for the brute force, almost as an like ball carrier for the forwards. Number 12, Geordie Barrett. Again, big time player, good ball carrier, good defender, and great kicking game I saw out of a 12 jersey, just to give a bit of a variety there. Number 13, Anton Leonard-Brown, extremely good under the high ball. Again, high pressure, great defense, great turnover abilities at the breakdown. I've already talked about him so much, he's so good. Number 14, Sever Reese. Again, individually, he can just break the game line wherever he gets the ball, great under the high ball. He almost could be a great Springbok player. He plays very similar style to someone of Cheslin Kobe at the moment, and I think that he'll be great matching up against Springbok number 14. And finally, I have Stephen Perofeta instead of Damian McKenzie. Again, it's because the fact that Stephen Perofeta is not that much of a kicking game player, whereas Damian McKenzie is more of a kicking game guy, and I think that the counter attack is more important against a team like the Springboks. On the bench now, initially I wanted to go for the 6-2, but I've realized that I realized I have a better plan instead. So Osafa Amua on the bench for me, just because Cody Taylor has been more experienced. A great ball carrier, all around great player. Amua, I'm pretty happy for him to be here. Ethan DeGuru and Tyra Lomax is just here to diffuse the scrum pressure from the bomb squad with the more experience coming off the bench. Again, really about remain disciplined, really about remain good, especially the Springboks nowadays. They bring their reserve props on about 45 minutes into the game. So these two guys will be on pretty much straight after half time to match up with that. So Fletcher New and Tuanga Fasi won't be playing much more than 50 minutes, and that's a big shift to how the props are being managed nowadays. So these guys don't be thinking that these guys will be playing 20 minutes. They'll be playing pretty much the entire second half. Patrick Tuipulotu, I already talked about. I want him to come off the bench just as a more experienced player with a lot of heart, and I just think that he's going to bring that additional stability to the team to finish off the game without giving away silly penalties. Number 20 as well, Ethan Blackdad. I just work rate, and as additional line-out option, and just again someone who really can retain that discipline all around the park. Number 21, TJ Perenara. This is the one guy where I probably would have gone with someone differently if he wasn't the fact that I almost could have gone for the for Ratima here. I just think that TJ Perenara, the style that he plays, whilst great, I just think that as a finisher, I'm just banking on the fact that he might milk a few penalties that'll make a difference in 3 points here. I'm not counting too much. Yeah, that's probably what I'm counting on here for TJ Perenara selection in 21. Let me know your thoughts, but I really don't think Ratsma is a better option, just because you don't want someone that's debuting to be finishing in an important match like it is against Springboks. So really, just no other options. I really probably would have had Fakatava here, to be really frank with you. But anyway, it is what it is. Number 22, Mark Talea. And number 23, Riku Ioane. Like I said, Mark Talea, Riku Ioane, the way they've been played in the Blues are basically forwards. So just having 2 extra forwards on the bench is the secret to success for the All Blacks. 7-1 bench. And Mark Talea will be coming on for Seville Reece. And Riku Ioane will be coming on for Jordie Barrett. But Anton Lennon-Brown will go to 12. Jordie Barrett will go to number 15. And then Steven Perofeta will be taken off. That's how I will manage. That's how I will manage the bench. Jordie Barrett will go to fullback. And the reason he goes to fullback is because late in the game, second half, a lot of that is going to come down to kicking game, and it's going to come to long range kicking game. And I think Jordie Barrett in the fullback position will fill that role. We're going to shove the counter attacking from Steven Perofeta, Jordie Barrett to fullback, and the Anton Lennon-Brown to 12. Riku Ioane at 13. So just basically 13 and 14 are basically just going to be 2 fresh wingers on the field to try to break through the defensive line. And that's the game plan, guys. Let me know your thoughts.